Morning. It is Friday, the 20th day of Teves. Today is the Yortzeit of the Rambam. Maimonides. It's a big day. Maimonides, it says, Moshe ad Moshe lekam Moshe, from Moses until Maimonides, which was named also Moses, there was no one like Moses. That's how great he is. So let's start the Tanya Shir. Today we're going to finish the chapter 13. Let's begin with tzedakah. Put a coin in tzedakah, gedela tzedakah, shemakareves es hageula. So in this chapter 13, we discussed again about the Beinoni, the intermediate person, the one who has the struggle, the godly soul with the animal soul. However, he wins when it comes to the thought, speech, and action. And the Alter Rebbe explained the difference between the tzaddik, the righteous person, and the Beinoni. The tzaddik is a person who completely eliminated the evil inclination, or even transformed the evil inclination, that he does not have any desires whatsoever to any material things. Only what he wants is only Hashem, only God. And that is obviously something that is not very often. You cannot find a person like this easily. God himself saw that this is not a reality, and he planted in his generation that there should be tzaddikim. The Beinoni, on the other hand, is the person that, like we said, he struggles and he fights, but he always is succeeding in overcoming the evil inclination. But then, from time to time, during davening, he's also able to have the experience somewhat of what the tzaddik has, and that is to feel the love of Hashem. So as we said yesterday, that the Beinoni, when he gets involved in prayer, when he gets involved in holy things, he really connects and he feels it. And at that moment, at that time, he doesn't want anything else. He feels almost just like a tzaddik. However, right after davening, a Beinoni is able to again forget about everything and desire a nice breakfast or other material things, because the experience of the godly experience is gone. Yes, it helps him, as we said, throughout the day also, but it's not real. It's not real in him. It didn't really transform. It didn't really change. Well, the question then is, we ask Hashem, V'tahir lebeinu le'avdecha be'emes. We ask Hashem to purify our heart to serve you in truth. But the serving of God should be true, a true service. Now, the question is, what does it mean, true? We want to have love of Hashem in truth. What does that mean? Do you truly love Hashem? Some truth can be a relative truth. He's saying, are you now in a state that you love Hashem, you have the fear of Hashem? You can say, yes, absolutely. But really, ultimately, truth, the way the Torah describes truth, is something that doesn't change. Truth is something that lasts forever. If you ask, for example, let's take for example, if you see a person, a generous person, you make a statement. This person is a generous person. Is that a true statement? Yes, it's true. It's true. That person is generous. But is this really an ultimate truth? Is this something that can never change? No, of course it can change. It can be generous today. I don't know what his mood is going to be tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow is not going to be so generous. So that statement you're saying about a person that is generous may be true, but it does not necessarily mean that it's the ultimate truth. When it comes to take another example, and say you see a person, you say this person, he's human. He's human. He or she. That statement is an absolute truth. That he can never become not human. He's always is human, and he cannot become not human. Well, I'm not talking about people when they say they're not acting like not humans, but that's besides the point. But in any case, the question is, the Beinoni that knows that we're trying to do everything right, and we get to the point of changing, really, really changing. Is that a real change? Is that an inner change? The tzaddik, for example, has a real change, because the tzaddik, he completely eliminates the other side, and he only wants to do what is good. He loves Hashem with truth, because that love doesn't change. But the bottom line, the fact is that the vast majority of us are not in that level. So are we serving God in truth? And this, what the Alter Rebbe comes to explain now, that it may not be a true service in comparison to the level of the tzaddik, but being that you're not a tzaddik, you have to worry about your truth. The truth can be the truth that you have, meaning, what is the maximum that you can bring out of yourself? Do you serve Hashem truly with your truth the way you are right now? To bring the essence, to reveal the essence, what you have. You can say, like we say the Shema Yisrael, when we say the Shema, especially the prayer Shema Yisrael, it says, "Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha," love your God, b'chol levavcha, with all your heart, b'chol nafshecha, with all your soul, b'chol me'odecha, with all your might, meaning unlimited. But the Torah doesn't say you should serve Hashem unlimited, b'chol me'od. Me'od means really completely without no limits. It says me'odecha, your me'od, the limitless way of serving Hashem the way you are able to do. So this is what Alter Rebbe explains, that even though the Beinoni is not able to reach the level of the ultimate truth of the tzaddik, but is still considered serving Hashem with truth because he's using his maximum potential. So let's see inside how the Alter Rebbe says this. And of course, it will help us understand that when we serve Hashem, and what we do, we use our maximum, what we can do. That's all. That's what Hashem expects, and not more. It says, so let's see inside. As the Alter Rebbe, Vehine. Midas hava zu, ha'amura bebeinanim, b'shas ha'tfila, al yedei izgabrus ha'nefesh halekis. Now this aforementioned love attained by Beinanim, the intermediate person, at the time of prayer by virtue of the temporary performance, the temporary preponderance of the divine soul over the animal soul, etc., as we explained yesterday, that the Beinoni his godly soul overpowers the animal soul during prayer, and he puts the animal soul to sleep. And what he experiences is the love to Hashem. However, it is only during prayer. After prayer is finished, the love to material things can wake up again. The animal soul wakes up. So therefore, this type of love of Hashem, when you compare it to the standards of a tzaddik, is not considered ultimate truth. It says, Ine, legabe madregas atzadikim, oivdei Hashem be'emes la'amitoim, ein b'chinas avazu nikroes b'shem avoidas emes klal. When compared to the standard of the tzaddikim, who serve God in perfect truth, in the truest manner of truth, this love is not called true service at all. The love of the Beinoni compared to the tzaddik is not considered true love, because he loves Hashem during prayer, but after prayer, it's gone. Since it passes and disappears after prayer. Whereas it is written, the language of truth, sfas emes, means the language, literally it means the lip of truth, shall be established forever, but the tongue of falsehood is only momentary. So if you want to talk about real truth is something that lasts forever. Just like, there's an example that the Torah says, when it comes to dipping, you have to have regarding the laws of the water that needs for the red heifer. It says it need mayim chaim, live waters, and the Mishnah says you need to have true water. You cannot have from ne'arot amechazvim, rivers that are false rivers. What is a false river? A river that if even once in 7 years dries up, it's not considered a true river. Even though right now you see water gushing, it's a river. But being that in potential it's going to stop one day, there's a reason why it's 7 years. But in any case, if it's going to stop, it's not considered true. So when we're talking about an experience of a person, if it didn't change the person to really completely love Hashem, then that love of Hashem is not really the ultimate true love of Hashem. So that is regarding the tzaddik. So the Alter Rebbe explains that although regarding the tzaddik it's not true, but each person has their truth according to their essence of what they can reach in their level. And the Beinoni has his truth. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Ve'af al pikein legabe madrigas haBeinonim nikris avoda tama be'emes lamita shelahem." Nevertheless, in relation to the rank of the Beinoni, this level of love is regarded as truly perfect service in terms of their level of truth. So ish kefi madrigasei bemadrigas haBeinonim, in each man relative to his standing in the category of Beinonim. Because as we said, Beinoni has many different levels of Beinoni. There's a Beinoni who struggles every single day with and overcomes. There's another Beinoni that doesn't struggle anymore, almost like a tzaddik. But he's like a person who prays all day, but doesn't mean that it's gone. So potentially, if he's going to stop praying, if he's going to not be in that level, he can wake up again. The love for the material things. But since in his level, he's serving Hashem and using everything what he has. Says the Alter Rebbe, "V'areini koire be'avosam shebetfilosam gam kein sfas emes tikonahat." This love too, which they possess only during prayer, I term, says the Alter Rebbe, the language of truth, which shall be established forever. meaning that their love is true and permanent, though manifest only during prayer. Why is that? Why is this considered true if it changes after prayer? Says the Alter Rebbe, because potentially they have the ability to constantly reawaken that love. Since their divine soul has the power to reawaken this love constantly, whenever it gathers strength during prayer, day after day. Since you can awaken that love again constantly, that's why it's truth. How do you awaken it? By proper preparation. Some people need more preparation, and some people need less preparation. By means of spiritual preparation, appropriate to each soul's quality and rank. The higher the level of the soul, the less preparation it requires to awaken its love of God. Regardless, every soul has the capacity to arouse its love of God during prayer. So that's why it's considered a true love. So the question is, how could you have different truth for different people? Isn't truth something which is absolute? So the Alter Rebbe continues and it says, the truth means that you reach the essence of what you have, what you possess. So just like you cannot expect from a child to perform in class, in the tests, in the knowledge, like an adult, the same thing here. You cannot expect the Beinoni to perform the way the Tzaddik does. But if the Beinoni reaches his essence, what he can do, his service is considered truth. The Alter Rebbe says, because what is truth? It says the truth is the attribute of Yaakov. Yaakov, of course, was the third of the patriarchs. We had Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And the verse says, Titein emes leYaakov. You give the truth to Yaakov. Why is Yaakov singled out having the truth? Wasn't Avraham truthful? Of course he was. Yitzchak, of course. But ultimate truth is something, as we said, that lasts forever. Avraham, his truth did not continue with all of his children. He had Ishmael, he had the other children that came out. Yitzchak had Esav coming out. Yaakov was the one that his truth penetrated and had every single child was a tzaddik, was righteous. Truth is the attribute of Yaakov. As the verse states, you give truth to Yaakov, who is called the middle bolt, which secures everything from end to end. It says, just as the middle bolt in the tabernacle secured and bolted together all the boards by passing through them all. This is in the tabernacle. This is the temple the Jews built in the desert. God instructed them and gave them all the details how to build the temple, the tabernacle. And one of the things was that there was done with beams, and that was standing up vertical beams, and there was a bolt. There was different bolts that was connecting, but there was one central bolt that was connecting them all together. And the Talmud even says that it was also a miraculous bolt that was turning sides like a snake inside the beams. And the point being that this represents Yaakov, the one that his truth penetrates and permeates everything throughout, from the beginning till the end. In spiritual terms, this means that the attribute of truth passes from the highest gradations and levels to the end, meaning the lowest of grades. In each gradation and level, it passes through the central point of that particular level, which is, meaning, which then becomes the point and quality, the standard of that level's attribute of truth. The attribute of truth is an unbounded inheritance. It is no upper limit as it extends to the highest levels. Now all lower gradations and levels are as nothing compared with those superior to them. And Alter Rebbe brings it the way it's explained in Kabbalah and Chassidus, that the different levels, each level has the head of that level, the feet of that level, just like a body. And different worlds, they have the intellectual part of that world, the emotional part of the world, all the way to the feet, which represents the action. And in Kabbalah explains that the lowest levels of the higher world is higher than the highest level of the lower world. So a level which is called the head, it is called the brain of the lower level, is lower than the feet of the higher level. What does it tell you? What it tells you is that, yes, it is a truth in that the lower level, this level is considered the head and the brain. It's the top. That's the truth of that level. But compared to a higher world, it's below even the feet. So that is why what he explains is that the Beinoni should not be worried about what if his serving of God is not considered truth in comparison to the level of a tzaddik, because you're not a tzaddik, you're a Beinoni. Do what you can do most. Continues the Alter Rebbe, כידוע לידיכם, שבחינת ראש המויכים שמדרגס תחתינס הם למטה, מבחינת הכיויים ורגלי המדרגס עליונס מהם. As is known to the students of Kabbalah, the quality that is in the head and intellect of the highest levels, which means the highest level within lower grades, is inferior to the soles and feet, the very lowest level within the higher grades. As our sages say, the feet of the chayas, the spiritual animals, it says, surpass all those levels lower than them, including the highest degree within those levels. That's what it concludes, that the attribute of truth then is measured according to the standards of each level. We may thus conclude that the divine service of the Beinonim is considered true service relative to their level, although when compared with the service of tzaddikim, it is not considered true, since it passes after prayer. Nevertheless, compared to their level, this is considered truth. And that's what we take away from this. We have to not to compromise, go do the best that you can, be the best that you can be, and serving Hashem properly. And as we said before, Hashem helps you to bring out that potential. And as you get to maximize your potential, you will see how you grow from level to level. And this is the end of today's shir. Thank you all so much for joining. Sunday. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos,